going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be setting back up our hog trap. We did this last year and had pretty good success. We trapped a couple of different sounders and got rid of a good number of hogs. So we're doing that again this year. We're in a different location. We normally have a feeder here, and so there's lots of hogs and deer and all kinds of critters. So what we're going to be doing today is setting up the Pig Brig trap system. I love this trap system because it's affordable. It's not a closed system, so that, you know, like a metal trap, generally once it drops, you're done. And so if there's anything outside of the trap that hadn't come in, you've lost that opportunity. I like this. They can keep rooting and getting into the trap all night long, and I like that. And it's just easier to maintain. It's easier to store. It's easy to set up and tear down. It just feels a lot more mobile, and it's certainly more affordable for what we're doing here. So what we're going to do then, as we're setting this up, I'm just going to try to do a little bit better this year of walking through all of the pieces, the components, the tools that's actually required, from the net itself, the anchors that go in the ground, the straps, the different buckles, the stakes that go in the ground, just kind of the whole deal, and some of the basic tools. It's nice and simple, very easy to work with. And so got my dad back with me today, AKA Paw, and so we're ready to get this thing set up. Follow along with us. All right, so I'll just walk you through some of the parts of what you need for this particular trap system. But we've had this one a couple of years now, and so we had to have 10 T-posts, and I think these are 6.5 foot. And this is real sandy soil where we are. We're right on a river here, and so lots of sand, and so it's real soft, and so we want to be able to drive it in a little bit farther. And then you've got 10 of these little buckles, and they go at the top of each of the T-post, and then they send you with 5 of these spikes that go on the inside, and that's what holds the netting on the inside, so that once they root up underneath, they're not able to pull it back. You're going to need a 2 to 4 pound sledge of some sort, and that's really to drive this. This is a driver. If you've ever done any trapping, this is how you drive that anchor down in the ground. And then a T-post driver, that saves a lot of time. And then they send you with all the straps, and these go on the outside. And then what's super handy, and this is really the most helpful part, they send you with basically a measuring system. So it's these, they send you with these straps, and they're color coded, and then they've got some stitching at different parts, and this just shows you how to measure things so that you're not having to get out a measuring tape and figure things out and do the math. Like, this does the math for you. You get your first T-post in the ground, and then you move it, and you move it, and you go all the way around. So we'll kind of walk through that as well, kind of as we go. They send you with some extra anchors, and I actually bought 2 different kinds, 2 different lengths, I should say, for this endeavor, because we're going to need to drive them a little bit deeper here in this sandy soil, and so hoping those are going to hold. And then of course the net looks like this, and we're going to get it spread out. They send you with a lovely instruction manual, which is helpful, but what I figured out real quick is that watching somebody actually do it is really the most practical and helpful way. So that's why we're doing this today, and that's really it. I mean, this is the entire trap system, and it all fits in this bin. So I cleaned it last year, I let it dry out, and then I folded it up as best I could, put it in this big closed bin, you know, with a lid, and I mean, it's been great. And so, I mean, this is all it takes. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's easy to tote around, and it does a fantastic job. So we're gonna get to it. All right, so we've got the net laid out in a circle like this. You want to get the outside correct, and so they put this, you know, wild hog trap, stay back 200 feet. This goes to the outside, and so that's the part you have to remember. On the inside, you have these buckles, kind of these, almost like a locking carabiner, and so there's 5 of those. So what we're going to do first is find the center of where we want the center to be. We're going to use the anchor driver and hook the part of the black strap has this little, like a D-loop on it. So we're going to put that through, drive that down a little bit. That's going to be our center. And then we're going to pull that taut, and that'll give us our first point for our first T-post. And then from there, we just measure with the orange strap off of each one. I also forgot to mention that on the strap is that little mark, and that's a 5-foot mark, and you use that to measure down from the top of your T-post down to 5 feet, and you wrap it with some electrical tape, is what we used from last year. And that's how deep you want it to go. You want at least 5 feet sticking out of the ground. That's why you can get different, varying lengths depending on how much you need in the ground. So we're gonna get this going. This is our first spot. Pull it tight, make our mark.
We're going.
Number one. So that becomes kind of our measuring stick, our guide. So we take this same strap, comes with a nice little hook, so convenient. Hooks around that at the bottom, and then you pull it till you've got a nice angle, and that becomes your next mark. How sweet is that? And then you make sure that all the little, all the little bumpy parts, I'm sure that has a name. You want to face that to the outside. Take our hook again and move it over and do the same thing all the way around. That was definitely one of the concerns, was spacing everything. And initially I thought we were going to have to measure everything. I was like, this is going to be weird, inconsistent. But nope, they thought through that. Moment of truth.
See how close.
Just to see how close we got. Hook it here.
Oh.
So off by about 5 or 6 inches, and we should be able to make up that difference. But next up, we got to put on all the whatever those buckles are.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just kind of hand tightening these nuts on there right now, but they literally just go below this first bump. And then again, the strap will go up underneath here and hold that there, and then you pull it tight out there, and then the netting just goes over this top, right at the top of this T-post. So now we're going to take all these straps. I'm going to take the long end and run it through here, and see, this is what I was talking about. It's a little bit easier to loosen that and then get it through there. I like to have it, that makes me feel like it's more secure. And then we're going to tighten that up better. But then this will attach to one of our ground anchors out here, and that we have to measure as well. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and tighten these up. I definitely recommend a better pair of pliers. It's hard to remember everything. There's this many moving parts. Oh, these are bad. We're just going to put all these on loosely, hang them here, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap the top of the netting over these posts. All right, so next we're going to hang the net, and literally it comes with kind of these pre-cut holes, and this is where it's going to wrap over the top of these posts. And they also put one of these little straps that'll kind of hold it down here in the middle, but you don't do that yet. But that just kind of lets you know where it goes. Underneath this hook, and then over the top, and that's your first one. And then you just find the next one and work your way around. Down to the last one, and this is where you want to kind of save the seam where the net comes together. And what they have you do is you kind of do a crossover. So you take this side, cross it this way, ow, like that, and then apply some backwards pressure. The next thing we're going to do is set the anchors, the ground anchors. So they look like these. I mean, it's the same kind of thing you would see with a, you know, with a trap, like with a foot trap, raccoons or coyotes. And so on this orange strap, they give you an inner black mark, which is 4 feet from the base of the T-post, and so that becomes your mark. You take your anchor driver like this, and they do provide one. I actually have this from doing other trapping, but you just press it against the base of this anchor like that. If you've never done this before, if you have, you don't have to listen. So I'm going to try to keep it taut, keep it on there. So again, we're about 4 feet out from the T-post. Okay. You may not have to go in that far when you're on different soil, but I want to make sure that our anchors do not come out. It's so sandy, might as well be on the beach. One more. I forgot to mention the need for some leave after this. Alright, so I got all the anchors in the ground. So now we just have to get these straps, take these straps and take this into the hook, put it right there, and then we're just going to tighten it, but just a little bit. Then what I'm going to do, what I did last year, is I did this one on this side, and then I did coordinating ones on the other side, and then kind of worked my way around. That way there's constant tension against both sides. Alright, so these center straps here, they're maybe 3/4, maybe 2/3 of the way up. And this just kind of helps alleviate some of the extra from being baggy. But that's really all it takes. It's only attached to the outside net. You've got the inner net. And man, this is the part that once they get inside, they run up against it and they'll try to grab it with their teeth and they pull back. But this isn't actually what's keeping them in. So this is super helpful. And now we're going to take one of these straps back off. Now that everything's set, just loosen it, take it off of that. I'm going to take this, gather it up. We'll take this strap, go up underneath, and I'm going to come to this side. I think last year I just hooked it around T-post. Now you've got the net off the ground. They'll have no problem getting up underneath here, getting in and out. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but it'll also, as they're getting up underneath looking for food, this will kind of dangle against their back. They'll just get adjusted to the net, and that's really what you're wanting to do, so that they know they can go in and out and feel like they're, that they're comfortable. Okay, so you can see But it's just about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet off the ground right here. And so as they go up underneath, they'll be able to feel it against their back, but then they can get right back out. So yeah, so we're gonna bait it up around the sides real good, but definitely on the inside. That's really where we want them to be to get adjusted and comfortable. And then I'll make sure that my trail cam's good to go. Trail cam right there, ready to go. That'll tell us when hogs are in it. The last step in the baiting part is to lay out the corn, lay out the bait. So we'll be ready to go. Just got to get this yummy, delicious apple smelling bait on the ground. Job here today is done. Now we just got to let it sit. Okay guys, well we're back today. It's been about a week now. Last year when we did this, it only took a couple of days for the pigs to find it and to really kind of acclimate themselves to the net. This year, it's taken a little longer. I'm not sure why exactly. We spent a good bit of time hunting hogs this summer, and so I don't know if, you know, that little bit of extra pressure has just gotten them scattered. So we're gonna spend just a second. We're gonna get it really rebaited, pour a lot of corn into the middle of the net, then we're gonna go ahead and place these center stakes, and that's going to hold the middle of the net, keep it in, and then we're going to set it. Yeah, so hopefully they'll be back tonight and we'll have some pork in the trap in the morning. The worst part, getting out of this thing. I'm out, we're set up, 100 pounds of corn, stakes are in the ground. We just got to hook our straps back up, make sure everything's nice and tight, and then we're good to go. Definitely some big back straps walking around last night. All right, well, it's the next morning and didn't have as many as I was hoping for, but we do have 3 in the brig. Good size hogs. One in particular. We're gonna go dispatch these jokers and clean things up, and I don't know, we may reset the trap. I know there's more hogs that frequent this site, and so good possibility that they'll show back up. They're getting a little anxious though, so we're gonna get over there. Oh, mercy. Real anxious. Alright, well, we got it done. Took care of business. 3 down, got a big fat sow right there. Not too bad. What you think, Paw?
I think it's great. It's good to see. Wish we had more.
Yep.
Well, we did learn about tightening these straps.
Yeah, we did.
In soft soil to sandy soil like this is.
Yeah, because the top of the trap was really bending down when they were running up against it. And what we realized is these straps, because of the soft soil, had kind of pulled out, you know, kind of pulled toward the trap and had loosened a little bit, and so the top of the trap got loosened. So what we did was walked all the way around and pulled real hard toward the outside and then tightened up these straps all the way around, and now it is It is solid. And the Pig Brig held up. So we're gonna get them cleaned up, get them out of here, maybe reset this thing. Got on my grilling gloves. You're really not supposed to handle hogs without gloves on because they do carry some disease. Never had a problem before, and I've probably never worn gloves before, and I've handled probably 100 or so hogs in the last few years. But hey, you live and you learn. Thankfully we lived and learned. This is the worst part though, right here. I think this is probably the part that makes the Pig Brig, this is like the one drawback, is because once you've got all these spikes in the ground, the stakes in the ground, you have to root up under yourself or do a Peter Pan over the top. If you're in a really muddy spot, I can see that being a bit of a problem, but for now I've just got to go like this. You see how it can really keep you out. You see all that protein on the ground still.
Let's see how it looks.
Perfect. It's amazing how heavy they are. It's crazy about these jokers. They can reproduce at like 8 months old or something like that. It's definitely under a year. They can already get pregnant and start reproducing, and so, and there's no youngins around. Haven't seen any. Alright, well, so what we did, I think this is going to be something we do from now on. We got inside, took up 2 of the stakes, and then we detached 3 of the outside straps, wrapped it around the net, and are pulling it off the ground. This is actually a pretty decent way to hold the net off the ground. But really the reasoning is just to be able to get pull the hogs out a little bit easier. Look at that. Oh, this was a boar. I'm gonna get this reset, clean things up, put some more corn out, check all the straps again, and then we're gonna try it again tonight. So here we go.